brand new. I look new suitcase. I would have brought everything.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And we are live. I am here in New York City, and this is the release date of my book, Little Daymond Learns to Earn. I'm all over the place grabbing stuff. Here you go. All right. Oddly enough, where I am, I can't even get a little office space just to be able to. I see Sir Austin Charles said, yo. Um, I came to get a little office space to do this broadcast. And oddly enough, maybe 10, 11 years ago, this was where my wife worked at the actual floor. It wasn't the company itself, a whole nother company. But, it's kind of full circle. And I'm glad I'm here. So, by the way, I see some people coming in. Michelle De Cruz, Amos, Carlotta. Congratulations on the book. Thank you, everybody. Holly, what's happening? Maureen, I know a lot of you have. Thank you, said Holly said, I'm so awesome. I appreciate that. So, what's up? Nicole said, for us, by us. Now, by the way, so today is the launch day of Little Daymond Learns to Earn. And I got to tell you one thing. According to the stats and the data out there, the book is #1 in the country at the moment. #1 in the entire country. Now, this is not bragging. What's up, Vivek? We're going to be also giving you signed copies of the book in the link above. So make sure you get those. And I know some of you have purchased them. So let me show you the signing, right? Because I will be signing them myself. Look at all these book plates. All right, I'm going to be signing them myself according to your orders. Now, thank you. Somebody said, congratulations, Valerie. But, this is not thank you, Angela, and all those who are saying congratulations. Go on and all the sources to check, but you are in the right place. Because let me tell you something about this being the #1 book in the country. We are winning. We, you, me, us. This book, as I'll get into this book, there is no other book out there like this. Go look for it in the library. Go look for books like this in schools. Now, there may be some other books out there because all of my amazing educators out there, they have created books where it is some form of financial intelligence, but maybe they weren't publicly known. And like most of the superheroes, where many of you are superheroes, you're not publicly known, but you're doing more work than any superhero would have ever done because you're out there, you're in the churches, you're the teachers, you're the veterans, you're the frontline workers, you're the firefighters, you're all the people that our communities believe in, and you don't have that public recognition. And you know what? You probably don't even want it, right? You want to just work a hard day's work and be able to feed your children, never be judged against something you don't do wrong, never be and be able to love who you want. And that's what this country is about. And what I decided to do was I realized that this country is not teaching financial intelligence to our children. But you can't talk to children about financial intelligence like, let me tell you something, pull out your P&L statement, whatever. It's going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? So I came up with something that is soluble. It is something that you can teach your children the same way that we all our children some of those really bad stories about, if you don't want to lie, think about the kid who cried wolf. That wolf came and destroyed everybody. A Little Red Riding Hood. Why was a wolf eating people or something like that? You can talk about stories like this too, because every time you read this to your child, 5 to 10 years old, parents will learn from this together. Every time you read to your child this story, because remember, you read it, once a month, whatever the case is. And then when your child is thinking about something, say, well, how did Little Daymond and his crew get that? How did they learn to earn it? Son, daughter, anything you can buy, remember, anything you can buy, you can sell. Anything you do for free, you can get paid for. How did they get to learn it? Think about it. And it starts to really, really change your mindset. And why is this a success for us? Because I want this. If it's the #1 book in the country, well, then you know what? I want everybody to hop on the bandwagon, every type of celebrity, influencer, whatever. If you can then source content from great places and great people, make this the hippest thing to do, because America has voted that this is what we want. And this is why this is going to be what I'm going to take to the grave as my legacy, because I want my little girls to say, my daddy sparked a movement that made every single educator or celebrity or organization say, we need to do something like this. And by the time I leave this damn planet, somebody's going to say, where did this conversation start? We kept talking about it. Daymond John started a conversation, and we all jumped on the bandwagon, and we all decided to create change in our system, because the schools in Missouri started doing better than the schools in Tallahassee. And Tallahassee started to compete with Atlanta. And our children now have financial intelligence, and they're no longer growing up with an education that they're not taught any kind of information on financial intelligence, but yet they got into $700,000 worth of debt for an education they're not even certain that they wanted when they were 17, 18 years old. And that is why I created this book. And that is why so many people, thank you, Carlos and Alex and Rick and everybody who's talking about what's going on. Now, remember, you can go up and purchase your signed copy at the link above. And by the way, unlike many of my other books, I'm not going to do too many book signings, because when am I going to do a book signing when you're trying to put your child down? When your child is at 6 o'clock, after your child went to all these after school things or whatever, and then you busted your butt at work and your child got to go to bed by 8:30. I'm not doing a book signing then. When am I going to do it? On Saturday, when you're trying to put your child in soccer or various other things, or finally spend time with your child? Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to only do it here, and there's only going to be a limited amount of ones that I can sign ever. And so this is why this is a piece of history, because I'm signing these for everybody here. I'm going to be answering any of your any of your questions, excuse me. And now also, you know why I'm wearing this top hat? Because I'm having fun with this. I'm going to be talking about this stuff for the rest of my life. You know why I wear this top hat? Because we all got caught in a big trap. We all grew up. And I'm an only child. I never wanted to grow up. Mr. Wonderful could wear the chef hat, and I love Mr. Wonderful, but I could wear the top hat, because don't you remember when somebody left a big old hat around you? I don't care if you thought you were a beautiful woman walking in the Kentucky Derby, or Willy Wonka, right? Or Frosty the Snowman. What about a ringmaster, right? I'm wearing a hat because you know why? Because the kids don't care. When I go and speak to the kids, they don't care about my pinstripe Brioni, my Burberry, my FUBU suit. The kids don't want to see that. I walk up to them with that on. You know who I am? I'm somebody so unapproachable that they'll never understand. Oh, but when I wear this hat, when I wear this hat, the kids, what they ask me? The first thing they ask me, you gonna do some magic? Yeah, young man, young woman, I'm gonna do some magic. You know the magic I'm gonna teach you? I'm gonna teach you how to move out of your parents' house and disappear at 20 years old and be able to have your own life and not be a burden on your parents, because today's generation, they're not moving out till they're 30, 32 years old, because they didn't have financial intelligence. They have debt all the way up to their eyeballs. And now you, at the age of when you're supposed to be an empty nester and enjoying your time, well, your kids are still your dependents. The fact is, in the past, our kids were supposed to take care of us 2 times longer than we took care of them. I'm going to teach little kids magic. I'm going to teach them how to make $1 to $3. I'm going to teach them magic, the freedom of money. And buying things aren't necessarily money. Money may be you want to spend 6 months in Thailand and then 6 months in America. Money may be you want to save our furry friends who cannot defend themselves. Money may be you want to be able to take care of those mentors in your community that work so hard and they gave everything, and now their social services and those things are no longer there for them because we depleted that and we gave it away to banks that are failing, and we're giving it to them like welfare, all the money that we have in this country. And meanwhile, everyday hardworking Americans like you and me, we can't just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we blew all the money. Do me a favor, hook me up." And that's why I'm doing this. That's what the book is for. I want to give you some takeaways. I'm going to answer some of your questions. Um, you know, um, uh, while you're here, but I'm gonna give you some takeaways right now. Remember, I'm gonna reset everything. We did it. We have the number one book in the country right now, Little Daymond Learns to Earn. And let me tell you about Little Daymond's story. Little Daymond wants to buy something. Little Daymond made a little bit of dollars with working at his mother's stand, and he decides he wants to buy it. He doesn't have enough money. His mother tells him he has to open up a business. So he opens up a business. And guess what happens when he opens up a business, right? What do you think happens when Little Daymond opens up a business? I'll show you what happens right here. Little Daymond is very predictable, isn't it? Right, for most kids. Well, let me see. Little Daymond opens up a business. Well, what's the business at? Okay. Sorry, everybody. And by the way, there you go. All right. Daymond opens up a business, and I can't find it. I can't find the page, but I'll tell you what happens. He fails. He fails when he opens up the business. He realizes it's not as easy as possible. Then after that, what does he do? Well, he just thank you, C, who just purchased, C Austin Charles. When he opens up the first business, he fails, and he realizes, hey, Linda, a likely and WBD. When he opens the first business, he fails, and then he realizes, wait, this is not as easy as I thought. And now he gathers his friends around and says, I want to create these shirts. Well, somebody can sing, somebody can dance, somebody can draw, and somebody knows how to do numbers really well. And they gather together as a kind of like the Avengers, right? And they then do things to get people to come around the booth and buy these things. And what he realized after that, because this whole idea about being a boss is you tell everybody to get coffee. No, you get up before everybody, you go to bed after everybody, you blame everybody for your success. You blame only one person for your failure. And if you win, everybody is supposed to win, and everybody wins together. So that's Little Daymond. Now, I got to tell you something else. When I was out there looking for books, I'm tired of reading little Minka, my little baby girl. She's 7 years old, just turned 7 years old. How many times am I going to read her a story that a prince is going to save her? How many prince and princesses and pony books am I supposed to read my little girl? That somehow she's supposed to drop a glass slipper somewhere, or somebody's going to slay a dragon, or she's supposed to throw down her hair, right? How many times am I supposed to do that, right? And tell her to wait for somebody else. We are in the information age, and let me tell you something. We are at the time when everybody is supposed to share this information. But why am I supposed to tell my daughter, go live with 7 dwarves and maybe somebody will come and marry you? Ain't nobody marrying you if you live with 7 men. But maybe I'll tell her, if you learn to earn and you think like this, what happens is you make your own glass slippers. You make glass slippers, whatever your glass slipper is in life, right? You make your glass slippers along with your friends, and you come up with something that you love to do. Wait a minute, maybe the prince walks into a store or into a factory or into a house and say, damn, who owns this company making all these damn glass slippers? I need to meet her. That's what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm doing that right now because I'm giving you an opportunity to win or not win, to, buy my Little Daymond Learns to Earn. Well, I'll be signing them, and there will be very few of these in this country. Oh, you think that is just for our little girls? What about our little boys? You think that they're going to just be thinking about, what? Webs are going to come out on my wrist, or I'm going to fly. I want our little boys and I want our little girls to all dream. Do not get it screwed up, because I want our little boys and girls to dream, but I want them to have dreams based in reality and the fundamentals. So I want, when they dream about flying and being with their Avengers are not trying to fight Thanos and these big things going to ruin the world. it's like what I learned with my three other partners who we had zero, and we created a company called FUBU that's globally recognized now out of our basement. We're the super friends. I learned how to tap them. Or I tapped into four other amazing people, and we sit on a panel. And whether you are a woman, a boy, a girl, whatever your sexual preference is, your creed, your color, your religion, you know that because of that panel, every one of them came from zero. Even Kevin O'Leary came from nothing. And I'm sorry to say that. Even when he was hatched, he came from zero. But I want you to know that you got to see what the American dream is by us sitting on that panel. And it was a super friends, right? That's what's happening in here. Angela, what's up? Thank you for saying congratulations. Remember, it's the number one book in the country right now. I'm gonna give you little takeaways. You know, in this book has a lot of takeaways, very soluble. It is from 5 to 10. Parents and kids read it together. Don't read it once. You read it 3 times a month, 4 times a month. And you know what? After you do that, after the kid gets it and starts to understand the process, give it to another family. All right. But let me give you something else I've been telling everybody. You know what I love to do with my godson? You know, when you give your kids a gift, you give all these kids that you love a gift. Well, you know, you can give them a truck. You can give them a nice Tonka toy truck, or you can give them a little truck that's a Caterpillar truck and go buy one share of Caterpillar stock. Now, if you gave your child normally a share of Caterpillar stock at 7 years old, he'd be like, "What the hell is that? Am I making a paper plane out of that?" But you give him the truck with a Caterpillar stock. That's for his birthday. Then you take a picture with him, you, in the truck, mommy, dad, whatever the case is, right? You take a picture with them. You put it in a nice photo album. Then Christmas time comes. Their favorite movie comes out. You buy a doll or something like that, and you give them a share of Disney. All right? You're doing that, right? 2 times a year. In 8 years, you're going to look at that pile of toys, and you're going to say, how much was that worth? I don't know. We probably gave it away. I don't know. $100, $200. How much is stock worth? $6,000. And now you got a portfolio of just stocks. Just one. It's just the things the kids see the most is what they want to become. We all know that. You can tell your kid while you're smoking, don't do this. That's not good. You know what's going to happen. But the things they become used to doing is what they do. And that's why I came up with this. It does not exist. It doesn't exist in the school system. Little Daymond learns to earn. That's it. Little Daymond learns to earn. And I want and I dare every single notable celebrity, whoever it is. Come on, let's get some questions. We have some questions coming in. I want everybody, every celebrity to top what I'm doing and find other ways for our families and children to be able to do this, because we are no longer in the industrial age, and our school is set up for that. Our school is set up for when we were in the industrial age. Our schools teach you a great trade, or they teach you how to be a great employee. But I always say the stat is that 50% of the kids graduating today would retire with a job title that doesn't actually exist today. That's like telling you 20 years ago you were going to be a pay-per-click expert, an AI expert, a drone operator, a social media, whatever the case is, right? A virtual assistant. So how are you going to now go to school, not get taught financial education, and then at 18 years old, probably the dumbest time of your life, when those credit card companies are lined up, they all have CFOs. Those colleges, which I believe in higher education, they're lined up and they all have CFOs. But you now, your child gets $700,000 worth of debt for education they don't even know if they need. I mean, I believe in financial intelligence, and I don't believe this is a scam, because they offer financial classes, finance in college. But wait a minute, I just got $700,000 worth of debt, and you're teaching me now finance? It's going to take me 4, 5, 10, 20 years to really learn. I mean, how many of these amazing men and women that fight for our country, how many of them join the Navy and somebody says to you, I don't care if you can swim, I'm going to put you in the middle of the war, in the middle of the ocean with 20-foot sails, swells, and then I'm going to teach you how to swim. Isn't that backwards? They say life is a cruel teacher. She gives you the lesson first, or one of these, right? I'm dyslexic, right? The lesson first, or the test first, and the lesson later, right? That's the same thing. Giving you the test first and lesson later. You're gonna fail. So anyway, let's get to some questions about Little Daymond Learns to Earn, and I'm going to hopefully share with you why this is the number one book in the country. Taryn, please give me some questions right now. And by the way, you're going to get a signed copy if you order it right now. And don't be afraid of ordering 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 and giving them away to the people that need it the most. All right, Taryn, what's happening?
Linda from Illinois.
Linda from Illinois
would like to know who inspired the characters.
Who inspired the characters? My little girl, my mama. So that's Little Daymond, right? And that's Little Daymond right there. It's one of his friends, another friend, another friend. I have so many friends of rainbows of different colors because I want people to understand that you can have different color of friends, and that's beauty. And this is Minka J. Minka J is the star, and Little Daymond wants to get a poster by Minka J. Oh, I got it, my mama. We're here. There's a Little Daymond right here. See that? See Little Daymond. What he got right here? Bang. See that? See, this is Little Daymond before he learned to earn, and this is Little Daymond when he said, "I got bang." Where's the glasses? Where's glasses at? Where's glasses at? And this is Little Daymond after he learned that who said I got the you said I got the number one? Hey yo man, you said I got the number one book in the country. Who said that? That's my word. I'm gonna hit y'all with that later. I'm having a good time. I hope you welcome. You know why I'm wearing a top hat? Did I tell you why I was wearing a top hat the whole time? Because I saw this amazing movie. It should have went for the Academy Award in 2008 about the best movie ever made. It was where these two guys went into an interview. They both had top hats. It's called Step Brothers. That's why I'm wearing a hat. Because if you just tuned in, I'm wearing a hat because when I'm talking to our little kids out there, they don't care about my suits. They want to see something, and they go like, "Oh my God, you're gonna teach me magic? Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to make $1 to $3. I'm gonna teach you how to hang out with your friends more. I'm gonna teach you how to get out of your mama's house when you are 20 years old." And all the people who say, "Well, why would you wear a hat?" You know why? Because I wear any goddamn thing that looks cool and looks fun to our children. Because our children are more important than any other adult on this planet besides my mama. But I will wear a hat every single day. Don't you talk about you talking about my mom? Anyway, what was another question there, Taryn?
So we have Liam from Kansas.
Liam from Kansas
asked, what's the balance between chasing your dreams and paying your bills?
The balance between chasing your dreams and paying your bills. Well, that's a good question. Pursuing what you love. So hopefully you'll be able to pay the bills doing and pursuing what you love. But I worked at Red Lobster for 5 years while I was chasing my dreams. And I slept approximately 4 hours to 3 hours a night for 5 years because I worked at Red Lobster because I had to pay my bills. And then I did FUBU in all the other times. And at the end of the day, Red Lobster was 80%, 90% of my ability to pay my bills, and then FUBU started to become 20%, and then 30%, and then it moved. But I had to sacrifice something. I had to sacrifice, and I was loving what I was doing though, because chasing my dreams was FUBU was never done at that level before. I got inspired by another amazing man named Kalk and I. He got inspired by Cross Colors. We all got inspired by Dapper Dan and Willie Ware. But at the end of the day, I had to sacrifice something. But you know what? You don't always have to sacrifice something. That's why I wrote the book, Little Daymond Learns to Earn, because you don't. I mean, when we talk about entrepreneurship, everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. You see, what the book in general, it gives our children 5 to 10 years old a way to think about it. But let me give you another simple takeaway on how money works. Money is extremely simple. It doesn't care about anything else but how you use it. When you learn to earn, and somebody said WBD, somebody said uh FUBU, ain't nobody wearing that no more. Well, when you learn to earn, you learn to understand that it's a big country, and we're probably the number one brand in the Philippines and various other places. You'll realize, stop making stupid ass comments like that, because it's a big world. So you'll learn to earn. I hate to hate you. By the way, one of the number one colognes being sold still till today, it's Old Spice. Ain't nobody wearing that no more. So please do me a favor. I want you to learn to earn. Now you've embarrassed me and Little Daymond. So anyway, as I was going to say, when you learn to earn and you start to understand this, you don't have to go and work your butt off like an entrepreneur like me. You know what? If you put away $100 right now, that's an automatic deduction. You know what happens if you started at 18 or 19 or 20 years old, putting away $100 every month as an automatic deduction. At 60, 65 years old, it'd be 1.5, $1.7 million. You have $100 a week, right? But guess what? You know what I say? If you want to learn to earn right now, I'll show you very simple techniques on when to learn to earn, because you always have to think, right? So, by the way, somebody said send you the link. The link is right there. If you buy it right now, you will get a signed copy, and there will be limited signed copies. And as I spark this movement around the country, you will be able to say, I was there when the book, the Daymond John, who, by the way, Shark Tank is, of course, amazing. It's been a blessing. But as an adult show, it's the number one show watched kids 5 to 15. It's the number one show watched parents and kids together. And it's the number one show taught in schools. We don't have any more heroes, national heroes for our children. I want you to consider this, that after children are 5 and they're done watching Peppa Pig and Daniel Tiger and things of that nature, who do they watch? Think about it. No national heroes. They watch a bunch of splintered families on YouTube playing with toys and games. Who did we watch at least? And think about how this country is in debt. Who did we watch? We watched Mr. Rogers. There was a lot of content that Mr. Cosby was pulling out. What about the guy, Bob with Steve Ross? Keep messing up the name with the art. What about Conjunction Junction? What's your function? What about all of the Sesame Streets and all those who taught us critical lessons that we gathered around the TV, that right now the ratings that Sesame Street was getting on Thursday night is more than the Super Bowl is getting annually? What about even our children? My oldest girls, you know who they watch? They watch Steve on Blue's Clues, Dora the Explorer. Well, now what are our kids doing? They're watching a bunch of YouTube families. You know who I love that you can watch to teach you great things? The Mighty McClures. Watch them, all right? Or the Ninja Kids. They talk about gymnastics. But most of our children are watching a bunch of other children playing on YouTube, and they're opening boxes, and our kids are caring about opening a box than creating what's in the box. We don't have any national heroes anymore, but I have been in the children's living room for 14 years, and they can relate to me. Oh, when I walk in with the top hat, I'm going to show them how you can earn to learn, right? And your parents are going to be able to read this to you several times, and every time they ask something, you go, what would a Little Damon and his gang start to do? How will you earn that? Don't you have a skill? I think you can get paid for that. Remember, son or daughter, anything that you buy, you can sell. Anything that you do for free, you can get paid for it. So that is what this is. If you purchase right now, you will get a signature, a real one from me, from the author. You will be a part of what I call history. It's already number one in the country. This is a symbol for us that said America wants this knowledge. We have to change the school system. Why is there a book out there? Listen, and by the way, I got nothing against all the amazing authors out there who created books like, the one that's out now is Dragons and Tacos and various other things. It is really amazing. But if I should thank you, Gloria, Gloria. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Gloria? Is that our girl, Gloria, who has, Gloria, what's her last name? Mansfield? That might be Gloria that I met that has another book also, or a program for children, because I'm highlighting anybody. This is not about me. This is about us. We are going to break this system. You see, I like to just basically say that that is Gloria. Gloria, man. So check her out as well. She's on here. She has a system for children. She's an educator. I didn't know her until last week. And while I'm going to start walking into these schools and these organizations saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Large Institution, I know you're donating a lot. Okay, no problem. Today you want to be Black Lives Matter, but that kind of dwindled away at the moment because some reason it's not the hot thing to do. Tomorrow you're going to be talking about all the other challenges, right? LGBTQ plus, veterans, various other things. And you know what? You may go in and out. At the end of the day, we may all agree or disagree, or you don't know how to be genuine or not genuine. Guess what? Can you get behind something like this and or some more curriculums for our children? Because that's one thing that we all agree upon is our children. And when you think about adults, I can teach anybody I want financial intelligence, but if you're an adult and you're already caught up with the way that you think, you may not understand it. And by the way, it ain't about making money, because I almost went bankrupt twice when I did not have money, and once when I had $10 million in the bank, because I thought, like most people, when I make more money, I'm going to, and now FUBU's doing great, I'm going to be rich forever. Well, if that's the case, the stats are lotto winners and athletes are bankrupt 65% of them 3 years after winning the lotto and or leaving the league. It does not mean that those athletes were dumb athletes. They were not taught financial intelligence. So we are trying to start these kids off with the way to think about financial intelligence for 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And what's up? We got questions? Give me questions, because I'm rambling here. I'm passionate about this. I'm gonna go to the grave. What's up?
Yeah, so Cody from Arizona would like to know, what advice would you give to a young kid who is struggling in school?
What advice? Cody from Arizona would like to know, what would I give to advice to a young kid who's struggling in school? Very hard to answer that, Cody, because I don't know what you're struggling with. Because today the world is more complicated. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of things that are distracting. But I am dyslexic, Cody. I don't know what you may or may have as a challenge. If you may be having something that is a way to process information. I got left back in school, Cody. I did not go to college, Cody. I did not have any money, and I became who I am by trying to absorb information another way. But by the way, Cody, 8 of the 12 sharks are dyslexic. And by the way, all the parents here, I'm going to tell you something about this book that my buddy Chauncey over there, who is there's dyslexic and there's Obi-Wan Kenobi of dyslexia, and that is Chauncey. He walks around with the cane with the whole hood on, and he is, I don't even know his name is really Chauncey. I think it's Yohakuk. I think he said his name is backwards. Anyway, Cody, however you're struggling, you need to understand that anybody can absorb information a certain way, right? And somebody's saying, Damon, there is no link. Fayez, how you doing? Angela. Um, all of us have something special. We all have, and we are at the time and age in our life. And this is why I think this is, thank you, Everett Jones just bought. Let me tell you something. I think I want to explain something to you. Every one of us has children. We have grandchildren. And you know when they accelerate in different aspects of their life. And the way that this country used to be was, of course, there were people who judged you on your pedigree, on what you went through, and various other things like that. I understand that. But today, if you don't know how to read, but you know how to do something else, you can open up this device right here, and that you're not going to be further away from this than 3 feet for the next 97% of your life. And you can create whatever you want, but you have to understand the process of creating it. And I don't want to date myself. Remember Siskel and Ebert? Well, Siskel and Ebert ain't never. Do you know Siskel and Ebert? You don't know them, right? Because they were very famous movie critics, and they sat there and watched movies. They never made a movie in their life, but they made millions and millions and millions of dollars critiquing movies. Robin Leach became richer than most people on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous because all he did was he wanted to take you into other people's homes. And he didn't have a phone like, oh, what's up, Fiona? Just got one. Oh, shout out to Fiona. You don't have to be the person like, you ever see like, Michael Jordan, you ever see Muhammad Ali, you ever see who taught them how to box? It wasn't people that were great boxers. It was people who studied, right? So I want you to break that chain of thought. And this is what it is about breaking that chain of thought of I need to be the only one who can do this. I have to be perfect. I have to have all these qualifications. And I have nothing against anybody with qualifications. Some of the people with qualifications out there are the best people ever because they're professors in our school and they're teaching our children. Don't get me wrong. You want to learn to earn as a doctor, please go to school before you start cutting people open. But end of the day, you know how many doctors I advise because they know how to save a life, but they don't know how to run a business or understand how money is supposed to be used because they are the best. They will save your life. They have a critical skill. But at the end of the day, the only thing that there's two things that we all need, right? But the only thing that whether you're running a corporation, you're working in an office, or you're at home, we need to live off of money. And so when you open up your mind to learn to earn, thank you, Everett, who's shouting out the power of broke. Mikey Monet, when you learn to earn as a kid, remember us adults are screwed up. And 25 or 30, when you're 25 or 30, what? That ain't work when I tried it. I don't know what nobody like. Oh, yo, stop. See, them people are trying to sell you something. But when you're telling a kid at 5 or 6 the process on how money comes in. So if you don't know, let me just give you a really simple breakdown on how money comes in. And by the way, if you're an adult, it's very hard because I got to tell you something. Life is extremely, extremely easy to understand. Really hard to do. I'll give you an example. You want to lose weight? You eat less calories or you burn more. Now that's extremely easy to understand. Good luck with it. But a child is going to be like, I only understand one thing. My mommy and daddy told me that when $3, 3,000, 3,000,000 come in, the first dollar goes towards something I must pay for to live, to eat. The second dollar goes towards an investment that I don't really touch. An investment could be an education, it could be a stock, it could be real estate, it could be gems. And what happens is that one I don't really touch, that $100. Remember, I told you $100 a month automatically deducted starts to flow outside, in certain years. It starts to fill bucket one and bucket three. And the third, when the money comes in, this is simple how money works, right? And I'm going to go over my gifting thing for all of you to talk about children to walk away with. The third dollar is paying for something I would like to have, but I don't have to have. But it is human nature to be very, very hardworking people. And when you make money, you want to treat yourself, right? So we usually, by nature, buy number three for number, as the first purchase, right? And then we never get to number two. And then number one, we're backed up on bills. So what do? We take out loans, credit card loans, various other things. We borrow money and we're paying 18% on that. That corrodes our entire lives. It's really hard to understand that as an adult, because if you're making $50,000 and you have $40,000 worth of traditional debt, it's hard to make that adjustment, because guess what happens? Oh, shit happens. And that's what happens. But if you're a child and you start off thinking like that, well, that's what happens. You think like that, becomes a habit for the rest of your life, right? And Marcy broke it down as give. Number two is save, and number three is live. Well, yeah, well, it is breakdown. It is not give, because I'll show you this, right? Number one is pay for what you need. Number two is invest. And number three is pay for what you would like to have, but don't have to have. Where is give in there? Give in there is in number two, right? Because as you invest, you find ways. And I'll give you other things to think about. But again, we're going back to Little Daymond Learns to Earn. As you invest, you get benefits off of taxable or non-taxable and charitable things, your tithes, right? Also taxes. But Little Daymond Learns to Earn is the process of thinking. I'll give you a simple example. For the last 3 years, due to the COVID bills, it was you got 100% write-off on restaurant purchases if you were on a business meeting, and that's a normal 50%. If you start to understand, and Little Damon learns to earn, that everything changes and you have to always change your thought process. Well, if you went and you were on the road and you went and you were having a business meeting and you were at your hotel and you go down and you say, okay, well, here's my, and you have the business meeting, you have a meal with a business associate, and you put down hey, let me put it on my room. Well, you put it on your room. Well, your room is a 50% write-off. But because of that COVID bill, if you would have just taken your credit card out, not put it on your room, and put it on the restaurant, you would have gotten 100% write-off. Just one action. But you have to learn, because you have to earn to learn. You have to open your mind to these things. So anyway, I can teach you so much of this stuff, and I'm going to wrap up, because I can keep talking about this. And you know what? Follow me on my social media, as you already do, on Shark Tank, where I give this advice for free as much as I can. By the way, I didn't come out with this book because I need to be more famous. I air on CNBC 60 times a week. I'm the Kardashians of CNBC. I got 14 years of reruns for you to see. So you don't need to see my big head anymore. I don't need to be more famous. I definitely don't need more money. I don't know what to do with the money I have, and I don't want to be a billionaire. And by the way, I'm not leaving my little girls anything, because I never want a man to come in their life and say, well, let me make sure that I date her because her father is going to leave me money, so they're not getting anything. Guess what? My oldest girls are great and amazing women. And by the way, let me tell you one other point. I could talk about this forever. If you think that learning to earn is something that people that don't have need to know, well, let me give an example. Think about all the children of the Fords, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the Mellons, right? Many of these children are trust fund children because their parents set up these trust funds and it was issued. Nothing wrong with that. But why isn't the Facebooks and the Teslas and the Amazons owned by those families? because the first generation makes it, the second enjoys it, and the third destroys it. If they were all taught financial intelligence, then they would have learned to earn and to create more things. And this is why this is your opportunity to win, because I gave you stats of how 65%. Now make sure you buy the book right now. I'm signing these right here. And this is the number one book in the country at the moment. This is why I gave you a couple of stats. And I know you guys are looking at me. I'm going to take one more question before I hop off, but I'm going to give you some great stats why this is in your benefit. Here is why it's in your benefit. Because if I told you that 65% of lotto winners and athletes are broke 3 years after leaving the league or winning the lotto, they don't have financial intelligence, right? Also, go look at Forbes. 65% of the wealthiest people in the world are self-made men and women. That means they had zero. And so if you look at that data, when we look at the people who had started off at this great country and they gave their kids, remember, when you have children like all of us, you can give your kids everything except for adversity, because we're giving them so many things that we never had. We're trying to protect them. And it's very hard to give them adversity. So when you look at the Fords and the Carnegies and all of them and their wealth, okay, trust fund children, whatever, and I hope they do well, and maybe, I wish them well. But this is where 65% of the new money is made by people like you who are investing in the future and understanding that you need to not only follow your passion and dream and change this world that some of us have screwed up, but you learn financial intelligence. And if you look at a panel of sharks, not one of all the sharks you have ever seen came from money. There you go. We're going to take one last question, then we're going to close it out.
And with a nice personal one from Leslie from Georgia.
Leslie from Georgia has a question or a comment or a personal one. Okay, there we go.
She asked, "What is your favorite part of fatherhood?"
What is my favorite part of fatherhood? Giving me purpose. You know, uh, it is about giving me purpose. You know, I see what's going on in my life through my beautiful little girls, and I want to, if I did something wrong or I go out today and I decide to get drunk and I go hurt myself, and hopefully I won't hurt anybody else. I don't drink anymore, but I can only blame myself. But when you see these little beautiful children and you are guiding them, you're protecting them, and their world is in your hands, anything ever happens to them, you can't live with yourself. But they also give purpose. My little girl, I'm teaching her how to learn to earn, and I always tell people the story that she goes to a very expensive school. And I remember saying to her one day, well, what do you want to be? What do you want to do when you grow up? And she said, I want to pick up trash. What? You want to pick up trash? For all the money I'm paying in this school? Nothing wrong with the great men and women of our cities that pick up trash to make sure that we don't have roaches and ratchets and infestation. They are hardworking men and women that do jobs that we don't want to do. But why do I need to pay this expensive school for my daughter to pick up trash? And I said, why do you want to pick up trash? And you know what she said to me with those big, beautiful eyes? Because I want to clean up the world, Daddy. And in her beautiful way, she was around 4 years old. Cleaning up the world didn't mean picking up trash. Maybe she would pick up trash. That's fine. Maybe she would create something that reduces the carbon imprint on our planet. Maybe she'll clean up the ocean. Maybe she'll stop the deforesting of our planet, or the all the things that she want to do. But the world is whatever she dreams she wants to do. And that's the main purpose of the book. Because if you grow up as a child and say, I just need to go and work for somebody and I don't know what to do when money comes in and I'm going to depend on the boss. No, I need you to concentrate. I need your little baby girl and your little baby boy to want to pick up trash. I want them to stop tyranny. I want them to stop human trafficking. I want them to develop things that they want to do and not have to worry about how they are going to pay the bills, and then let that money work for them. And this is what Little Daymond Learns to Earn is. Thank you so much. John Rudolph, Michael just purchased his second copy. Thank you all for being here with me. Thank you for making this the #1 book in the country. And if you know any celebrities or influencers, tell them I double dare them to come out with stuff like this in their communities, and to help teach our little children in soluble ways on what financial intelligence is. Help our teachers. The school system is not allowing our teachers like Gloria to do what they do best. When your children are learning about a train left the Eric Patrick Thomas is in the house. Let me tell you something. If you look at Eric Patrick Thomas, this young man, I met him. He's I think quadriplegic. Basically, the young man cannot move any of his limbs. He can only move from the neck up. He had a bad day, he says, 20-something years ago, where he caught a stray bullet, and he gets up. It takes him 3 or 4 hours a day to get up, and 3 or 4 hours a day to go to sleep. And he says his community is called the Invisible. And he has a company called Inspire Clothing. And every single time when I am feeling down and I think that life is challenging, I think Eric. But as I was saying, I dare everybody to come up with new things like this, because when our teachers are talking about a train left the station at 2:00 and arrived at 4, and if you did this and that, you know how I want to do with kids? I want them to teach them time versus money. And the train left the station earlier because you did this, that. You got to play with your friends longer. You got to do some art, and you know what? They'll start to understand that more. Than why the hell did the train leave the station? And why do I care? Anyway, I love you all. I truly do. I will see you. Thank you for making this #1 book in the country. I truly love you. I wish all of your kids to become such bigger and better people than I ever will be. I will be talking about this thing for the rest of my life. It's not this book. I will be talking about every single way that we can improve financial intelligence in this country, so we're no longer a country of debtors, and we can live the American dream. God bless you. God bless this great, great country. God bless every single buddy on here. Oh my God, Ginger King is on here. Oh my God, you know how much I love her. Thank you all. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be on GMA. But buy this now, because you're going to get a signed copy. Thank you all. Thank you to my little girl who gave me purpose again. And made me realize that we're not taking care of our children, and we're in a country of debt. But God bless this great, great country. And I'll see you all tomorrow on GMA. Thank you.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching.